This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hannah, I just Venmo'd you for dinner.
Obsessed. I'm spending it right now on the lip gloss that's been sitting in my cart.
What do you mean spending it right now?
You can instantly spend your balance with the Venmo debit card or when you pay with Venmo at checkout.
Stop. Say more.
More exactly. The more you do with Venmo, the more you get, like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash. Get the Venmo debit card or check out online. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Magic. I'm your host, Cathy Hackl. This is the podcast where we talk about AI, technology, new wearables, spatial computing, and everything in between. As usual, I am joined by my co-host, Lee Kebler. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, it's been a bit of a snowstorm here in the eastern side of the country.
I've heard and I've seen pictures, and my friends who were on the East Coast, oh my gosh, you were really getting quite the depth of it. It does not look fun.
No, but I messaged you and you're like, it's great here in Portland. I'm like, I'm so envious.
Yeah, the weather's been fantastic here. It's quite strange. So yeah, it's been an interesting week to kind of watch the snow come down around my friends who live on the West Coast or on the East Coast, especially those because I'm originally from Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Nashville has just been really getting the short end of that. It's been a lot.
Absolutely. And I've been snowed in with the kids for 2 days. It'll be a couple more days. So
you're crazy yet? How many times did you watch K-pop Demon Hunters? Like what?
No, we haven't even watched it, but we've been doing a lot of other stuff. But yeah, that's a great question. So to our listeners, Lee and I have some exciting announcements for you guys, but I wanted to start off by saying thank you to Adweek. Adweek has been the most amazing distribution partner for Tech Magic. It has been wonderful working with Mike, Zoe, Toby, folks that we've worked with there in the past. So Adweek, we are super, super thankful to have had you as our distribution partner. But we've got some exciting news. So maybe, Lee, you can tell folks what's going on.
Yeah, and first, I also want to add names to that list. Stephanie and Amy, who have been working diligently behind the scenes that edit the show together and put it together every week. And they create all the clips that get shared out and all of that stuff. Stephanie and Amy, you guys are fantastic. And it's just been such a joy working with you. But yeah, we are actually transitioning the show to a new home. It's going to take some time to do that. So this will be the last show that we air for a little while until that transition takes place. More information will come, only bigger things to come. Cathy and I have talked at length about different things that we want to see the show grow, live events, conferences, things like that. We've talked about it on the show. All of that stuff is coming as we make this transition. So bear with us a little while. And with that, enjoy this last show for a little while, and then we'll be back.
We will be back, though. That's exciting. So what do we have on the plate for this week? I feel like tech... Oh my gosh, AI seems to continue to be top of mind for everyone. What are your thoughts around it? Like, I feel like everyone's starting to talk about world models. You and I have spoken about world models. I'm very bullish on it. What are your thoughts around the current state of AI, Lee?
I think that right now, as it stands, we need to admit that there's been some overpromising and underdelivering by the largest companies that are backing this technology. some of that technology has actually grown at an exponential rate so fast that it's caught a lot of people off guard, but it has left the lingering question of so what? And I think that is going in through 2026 is going to be the big question that these larger companies have to start answering. We do see some of them approaching this, right? And it's not necessarily the people that I think people bet on early. So Gemini is doing a fantastic job of answering this. They've made some great partnerships with Apple, Google and Apple working together. It's like cats and dogs and mayhem. I don't think anyone actually thought that they would see that happen, but watching Apple start talking about, implementing Gemini from Google into Siri and all of that, those were things that if you would have said that in 2024, 2025, early 2025, I think people would have laughed you out the room.
It's like, you're crazy. That'll never happen.
That'll never happen. We're definitely seeing that. Anthropic has been kind of the AI topic of the last couple of weeks. Can they keep that up? I don't know, but they are making the right partnerships, especially in like workplace tools like Slack and things like that. And that is the market starting to define the so what.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there was a lot of initial, it's kind of like a magic trick, right? Like this is where the name tech magic comes from, is like a good technology is indiscernible from magic. But the fact of the matter is the second you know how a magic trick is done, you start questioning, well, then what's the point, right? And when we all saw like Sora, that was jaw-dropping. But after we picked our jaws up off the ground, we started asking, but what are we going to do with it? What is the average?
What?
Yeah, it's that so what? Like, what does the average person do with this? You want me to use Sora to fill my Instagram? Like, I genuinely have people ask me that question of like, okay, but I'm not I'm not a content creator. And I think this is like one of those misunderstood things is we kind of live in the society that kind of assumes everyone's a content creator, and that's just not true, right? Like, that's just not how it is. So as we see, for me, and I said this and you said this, when Apple rolled out Apple Intelligence about at this point a year ago, the way they did that by putting it into the operating system so it could just like clean up your text and it runs parallel to spell check.
Yeah.
Boring, but functional. Like,
absolutely.
Yes, that helps me write better. That helps me, craft information. Watching it go into Gmail in a way that is unobtrusive and helpful as a layer of a tool, fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. My grammar sucks, right? Like, so help me figure out how to rephrase this sentence so I don't end it with a preposition, because I don't know what a preposition is, right? Like, these are the things that I think people really are okay with the use case. And we're getting to that this year. And it's not as sci-fi sexy as I think the people who wrote the big old checks thought it would be.
I know. I will say this, now that you're talking about a few things here, I'll interject and I'll say, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've heard more people talk about using Claude than I had ever before with Claude Code and Claude Cowork. So it's really exciting to hear that, because I'm a big fan of Claude. When I did my dating experiment with the AIs, it was the one platform that just didn't play the game. It's like, I'm not going there. And I was like, I respect that, right? This is a tool for work, and I love that. So I'll say that. And then with Gemini and Apple, there's actually rumors out there that Apple's going to release some type of pin that is going to use audio and record. And obviously, there'll be some element of Gemini probably with that. So I'm really interested in seeing how they add Gemini into whatever wearables, whatever AirPods, whatever glasses that come in the future.
Well, and they're already saying that the Siri integration with Gemini is looking at February of 2026. And so that is right now right around the corner. And it can, if you look at when the leak of that happening occurred, which was probably about 4 months ago to now, and they had already been working on it and they were pinning these agreements, I could see that makes sense. Like, yeah, that seems on par. So we are going to see these things kind of like come together, and it's quite something. The other hand of it is not all of it that was promised is going to work, right? Like, we're watching Microsoft really struggle right now with Windows 11. They've been trying to push out this new operating system that is almost entirely AI centric and AI focused, and users aren't really super happy with it. And it's had a lot of bugs, and there's online jokes of, well, how much of the operating system was written in AI? Why are all these bugs happening? Right. And so there's a sentiment that I think is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The CEO of NVIDIA would disagree with me, but hey, that's not my problem. The skepticism and the pessimism is, I think, going to force the need for practical use cases. You're not going to be able to force all of society to just trust AI blindly, and nor should it, because
Nor
it's
should it,
nothing
yeah.
wrong, you know?
And I also think that idea of just because it's AI, it might be better, or adding AI into everything because it's supposed to be better. I'm like, no, that is so not true.
No, not everything needs it. Not
No.
everything needs it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's a super helpful tool. And then other times it can be in the way. There's been times where I've tried to use it as a research tool, and it's been really helpful, especially with things in mathematics,
Mm-hmm.
like programming and coding and things like that, things that it understands. That's great. But when you start looking at needing nuanced information, you'll spend more time arguing with it than you will actually finding that information. That just go open a book. You know, you kind of have to use some of your own personal human brain discernment. Use actual intelligence to figure out where artificial intelligence makes sense in your life, right?
Yeah.
And everything else is just going to be what it is, and it may not be accurate.
And it might not be accurate. I feel like we're past that moment, right? Of oh my gosh, everyone, it has to, everyone, we're all using it regardless, whether you're texting or sending an email, it's you're using AI. But I think we've moved away from that, that moment of I don't know what to call it. And, everyone had to use it. Or everyone was using it for therapy, or everyone was using it for X, Y, or Z. I feel like we're slowly, and I said this to you, I feel like, oh, finally we're coming out of this.
Yeah, and to come out of that, it takes a moment of disillusionment, right?
The trough of disillusionment, yeah.
Right. We have to. This is the first time where I've seen a technology truly where I think people were excited about the trough, because we knew, as we watched people communicate with these technologies and form real unhealthy bonds with it, reliance on it, or try to change career structure with it, that there was something about that was not going to be good for the industry in that. And we've even seen quite often a number of studies come out that a lot of CEOs have kind of buyer's remorse for trying to replace staff. And listen, I told you not to do it. Some of y'all went out and did it anyways, and we are just where we are. So, but I never said don't integrate the tool of AI into it. You should utilize it to make your employees like superhumans, right? It's a tool, it has a good use case. So I, for one, and we've said this in our, work chats back and forth I'm really excited about the trough of disillusionment this time. I'm just so excited for it, because it means we're going to get real tools that actually do something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One thing that was interesting, we talked about this a little bit last week, is the idea and the concept of what jobs will be disappearing, what jobs will be created. And there were two things that I keep thinking about. And one of them is the idea and the concept of job, as we have had for the last, 100 plus years, that changes, right? The idea of job is going to change, not the idea of work. I think we'll continue to do work, but work might not be 9 to 5 in a desk and in an office, right?
Yeah, it is interesting, because we've seen it integrated in places where it makes a lot of sense. I think last week we talked a bit about how it's even being integrated into a lot of vocational work. We had that conversation about HVAC professionals who can now utilize this to transfer that knowledge base that a longer standing working generation needs to transfer as they enter their age of retirement, so that the new generation, because you're always going to need HVAC, workers, you're going to need vocational workers to keep the world running. It is the backbone of our society in many ways. And how does this technology kind of support that infrastructure as opposed to trying to replace it? Because it can't, right? It's not something that can replace it. And we're seeing that. I think slow but surely we're seeing that. And that's where a lot of the world scanning and things like that you're super excited about comes into play.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be extremely powerful. You know what sign? I got a signal this weekend through the snow. Not through the snow, but because of the snow. And I'll explain. Not through the snow, it came a signal. Oh my gosh.
The snow, it's talking to me. The snowman.
I know, a little crazy, but not that crazy. No, so it obviously snowing really, really heavily here, and my son was out there shoveling, and apparently our neighbor actually has a robo snowplower.
Oh,
So
wow.
so my son and, like, other neighbors, everyone's, like, shoveling in the snow, and then this little robo plower is, like, doing the work while our neighbors inside having their, their coffee. And I was like, "My gosh, I need one of those." Like, that is the perfect use for this technology, and if that thing could scan the whole neighborhood and work for the whole neighborhood, I mean, that would have been so amazing. So, it was one of those moments where I was like, AI can actually be good if it's used for the right reasons. Like, I don't
Totally.
want the people that plow the streets to not have a job, but because a lot of us have to actually do it ourselves while we wait for the big trucks or whatever, that's a great thing to have.
But see, here's the thing. I think what all of this has shown us, because AI is super powerful, LLMs, even in their most basic form, are super powerful. We take for granted because of how it's been presented to us and how often it gets things incorrect. But what it actually is as a core technology is incredibly impressive.
Mhm.
And it has shown me how truly uncreative big tech CEOs are,
Interesting.
because they keep putting out what they think is the thing that the world wants. And the world's like, yo, how out of touch are you?
Mhm.
This is not what we've asked for. No one asked for Sora. Let's just be really clear. I am sorry, Sam Altman, but nobody asked for Sora.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I don't know. I'm excited to see the newer solutions, the newer things that will come once we move away from this LLM craziness, right? And chatbot moment to agentic systems that actually work and world models and embodied and physical AI. I think that to me is where it gets really exciting. And yeah, and we can actually do some good things. I don't know. I'm excited about the future, to be honest, as usual, right? As we usually are. I'm the good cop, you're the bad cop kind of situation.
And I'm not in a bad cop mood right now.
I know. I'm more in a bad cop mood today than you are, but
Yeah, I see it, but I see it because I feel like we are all kind of entering that, like, oh, AI is really bad at this, and we can now say it out loud, and people are just openly admitting it, and some money's going to have to be lost, and some companies are going to have to go away, and they'll be replaced with other companies who get it, and some of the companies will win, and some of the companies will lose. It's a race to a finish line, but that finish line is like just the beat. It's like almost a relay race. It's just a race to the next starter, right? And that's where I think it'll get interesting. But it's going to take a little while, and I do think some companies are going to have to learn a few lessons the hard way.
absolutely. I think, I don't know how many AI companies there are right now, but I'm sure that by the end of 2026, we'll have a lot less. That's my guess.
Well, you have what, 5, and then a bunch of quote unquote AI companies that are just piggybacking off of those 5.
Rappers.
and, and
Lots of companies that are just AI rappers, to be honest. But
it
yeah.
is. And if you're a rapper,
And with a W, by the way, people that
yeah,
are
with the
listening.
dapper, not my hip hop guy is like, no, you're cool. I'm not talking to you. No, if you're an AI company that has wrapped your technology over another AI and you're just kind of masking that, maybe you have something, but the second that you're not in control of your own updates, I personally think there's a problem. And so, you're gonna have to figure yourself around that. And I think a lot of those startups that raised a lot of small level capital will probably find a rough year this year.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a rough year for some of those companies. So we'll have to see. I do want to go on break because we do have a guest interview today that I'm really excited about. I've been wanting to have him on the podcast for a while. We are going to have Adam Cohen-Aslatei, the CEO of 3-Day Rule, which is a matchmaking company, but they actually have an AI dating app. It's not even an AI dating app. It's an AI matchmaking app that helps people get matched. So I'm really excited. As you guys know, this is something I'm really interested in. So let's go on break, and then we'll come back to Adam.
This message is brought to you by Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. And this is more than an ad. This is an invitation to be part of the stories the world can't stop watching, to connect with moments that dominate the conversation, to participate in culture, not just advertise around it. With the most sought-after IP, passionate audiences, and an advanced AI-powered foundation, WBD advertising transforms attention into influence and impressions into outcomes. This is innovation. This is impact. This is opportunity. This is Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. Visit advertising.wbd.com to learn more.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bullspend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hannah, I just Venmo'd you for dinner.
Obsessed. I'm spending it right now on the lip gloss that's been sitting in my cart.
What do you mean spending it right now?
You can instantly spend your balance with the Venmo debit card or when you pay with Venmo at checkout.
Stop, say more.
More exactly. The more you do with Venmo, the more you get, like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash. Get the Venmo debit card or check out online. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Interview. Hello, everyone. Today's guest is someone that I'm really excited to talk to, and I think you guys are going to learn a lot about the future of dating, the current state of dating, and the future of dating, and when it comes to technology. So today I'm joined by Adam Cohen-Aslatei, the CEO of 3 Day Rule. Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I love being here.
Amazing. Adam, introduce folks a little bit to 3 Day Rule and what you guys are doing currently. And I know we're going to get into the AI portion, but just give them a brief overview of who you guys are at 3 Day Rule.
Of course. Well, 3 Day Rule is one of the most, I think, legacy matchmaking companies in the US. We've been around for over 15 years, and we do traditional white glove matchmaking where our clients are paired with one of 50 matchmakers, and you get a date coach, and you get a photo shoot, and you also have access to this amazing recruiting team. And we help to find the needle in the haystacks for you. We go on dates for you. We vet them. We kiss all the toads, and we only present you with the princesses and princes of the equation. And so I always say, when you have a matchmaker involved in the dating process, there's someone that's accountable for the experience, and there's someone that's accountable for bringing you great quality compatible people. So that's the traditional business. And then the business has evolved in 2025. In Q4 of 2025, we introduced the first AI matchmaking app built by matchmakers and 15 years of matchmaking data. So excited to get into the nitty-gritty of the AI on the app side. But we also use AI on the white glove matchmaking side to help our matchmakers search the database, search our network, and help really rank and decide who to vet, who to have phone calls with, and order and prioritize the amazing singles in our network.
I love that. And I think it's extremely powerful the way you guys are using AI. So for frame of reference, like in past interviews, we've had love coaches, we got CEOs of different, AI dating app companies. But what I think makes you guys different is the fact that you come from original matchmaking, right? The original matchmaking in real life, and you've taken all that information, all that data to train your model and to train your AI matchmaking app and also how your matchmakers are using it. So why did you guys decide to go into AI, and how did you decide that you were going to go use AI in the way you're using it?
Look, my preface is I've been in the dating app industry for 15 years, so I know that world really well. I was a managing director at Bumble. I worked for the Meet Group. I had consulting projects for Zeus and other really big and well-known apps. I founded my own dating app, which I sold to a matchmaking company. So I've been doing this for quite a long time. And the analysis sort of at the end of 20 years working in this industry is, and this is probably not a surprise to you or to your listeners, is that dating apps are broken. The main philosophy of dating apps is you come in with all these hopes, all these dreams, you get crushed, you come back in because you feel like you have to be there in order to find enough people to go on dates. So it's download, delete, download, delete, download, delete, and this vicious cycle. And the reality is dating apps have a 9% success rate across the board, which means 9% of people find their love on a dating app, and that's why they delete it. The rest of us don't. So while everyone's on these apps, and there are definitely a lot of options out there, finding true compatibility and long-term relationships on dating apps has not really worked. Conversely, matchmaking, which is, relatively new to me, I took over the CEO job of the company, about a year and a half ago, and I spent another year and a half before that in the industry. So it's an industry that I understand very well, but the outcomes are vastly different. So in the matchmaking space, there's about a 70 to 80% on average of success, which means between 70 and 80% on average of our clients and clients of matchmaking companies leave those businesses either in a relationship or with the skills they need to find love. And the customer would say, I feel like this was worth my money. I now know how to date. I feel confident and I can do this on my own. So one of the two. But it's a much higher success rate. And so what I wanted to do as the CEO of 3-Day Rule is to figure out, is there a way of taking the success rate of a matchmaking company and of a matchmaking industry and democratize it, making it accessible to people at all price points? Right now, most matchmaking companies charge between $5,000 and $100,000 for matchmaking, for vetted matches, background checks, date planning, coaching, all that kind of good stuff. And you go on great dates compared to a dating app. I mean, it's night and day. And so the question is, how do we take something that is so high touch and so human centric and bring it down to a lower price and still maintain the outcomes? So what we did, and this is interesting probably to your audience too, something that dating apps just can't do, they don't have the data. We know exactly after every single date, we question our clients and their matches, and we say, do you want to meet this person again and why? So why did this date work out for you? And so we call them yes, yes matches, yes, no matches, and no, no matches. So now we have like over 80,000 matches in total that we've done in the last 15 years. So we have all this data. We know why something worked and why something didn't work. So we've taken now all of this amazing, very rich data, and we've built our own AI matchmaker that can understand how to pair you with another person to get the highest outcome of a successful date. Because dating apps don't have the after date surveys, they don't know why, but we do. And so we also wanted to mimic in our app, we wanted to mimic the matchmaker experience. When we said we want to build a matchmaking app, we deliberately are not a dating app. We're not building a platform where a user, a single, can come on, filter their way into this amazing Build-A-Bear, throw in a personality and have it work, because we know that doesn't work. Instead, we built a platform where someone is called the in-between, and this is a matchmaker. You're having a voice conversation with what seems to be a real human being, but it's actually AI. And the AI is asking you questions long form. We're getting long form answers from you. We're dissecting those answers. And we're also looking at your tonality. We're understanding, did your voice inflection or tone change when you gave a response? Typically, when your tone changes in a dramatic way by more than 50 percentage points when you give a response, that means that you may not be telling us the full truth. So the AI matchmaker in the app will also pick up on maybe your response wasn't fully accurate. And so we call it a lie detector, truthfully. But we will ask you that same question in a few different ways, because if we don't understand who you truly are and what you're really looking for, we can't match you. And similarly, a matchmaker, when they're interviewing their client and they're spending hours getting to know them, understanding what makes them tick and their personality, if they don't really understand their client, they're not going to be able to match them successfully. And some clients, it takes time to get your guard down. It takes time to be personal. We get that. And over time, we realize we find out much more about our client. But the matchmaker intuitively understands, okay, maybe this is a sensitive subject. We'll not talk about that on this call, and maybe in the future we will. The AI matchmaker is doing the same. So we're getting a really good understanding of who you are. And then the AI matchmaker has conversations with other people on your behalf and brings you back.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
And it brings you back people that have already said yes to you. So Cathy, in your case, we'd come back to Cathy and we'd say, hey, Cathy, if you're a premium member on the app, you get guaranteed matches. So we're going to bring you back David and we're going to say, Cathy, we just had a whole conversation with David about you. He already wants to meet you. Here's David. Here's his profile and here's his bio customized to what you're looking for. So the profile that you see is built just for you. It's a one-to-one match. And then we convince you that he's worth a conversation. So it's a very different sort of format and a different experience on our AI matchmaking app versus any dating app that you will use.
And I love that because what you're doing, in essence, is doing sentiment analysis, right? How is someone responding to this? Are they being honest? Do they really mean this? And then when the AI has a conversation with the potential, match, I love that there's this kind of like sentiment analysis that happens, not just an algorithm making a decision on supposedly your behalf because you have similar parameters or things like that. So I really like this approach. It feels, we use a term here on the podcast, human-centered AI. This truly feels like human-centered AI matchmaking, right? Because the AI is in between people, but it's actually being used to help people truly find someone that could be compatible, not just throwing them an infinite menu of options. So love that what you're doing.
And that's the trouble with most dating apps. I mean, it's the paradox of choice because everybody's on there. These apps give you the feeling like you're in control of the situation. And if anyone isn't 100% of what you want, well, there's plenty of fish in the sea. So drop them and go fish again. And there's literally an app called Plenty of Fish. So we have been sort of educated to treat people like they're disposable. And when we go on these air quote dates, and I'm using air quotes because I feel like they're not real dates. Are we really giving them a fair shot? Do we truly want a long-term relationship out of this? What is the intent? I don't really believe that they're full-on dates because I don't think both parties are on the same page in many cases, because how is there only a 9% success rate? So there's something that's not really working there. When we get back to the human element of things and we realize that we've been treating people like they're objects and we recognize that, that's when we can make a change into another platform or into another behavior where we're going to set ourselves up for success. And I think that's what matchmaking does, both on the AI side in app, but also white glove as well.
Absolutely. And definitely some of the happiest couples I know, and there's two of them, met through matchmaking, right? And that to me is, when I look at them and their happiness, I'm just like, wow, how did you achieve this? And it had to do with that human touch that the matchmaker brings in finding you someone that's right. So I love that you're able to port that, some of that knowledge of what a matchmaker does and how they approach matchmaking and finding you a partner into the app, into the AI app, without losing that human element. That there is still, like I said, to me, it sounds like human-centered AI, right? There's still a quote-unquote human touch because this has been trained on all the data that you guys have, and you've been very successful at doing this for years. Why do you think people are also, in some ways, also turning towards real-life events, right? Because there's also that swipe fatigue, that idea that, I can't find someone online. So why do you think people are also turning to real life?
Yeah, I think this started during COVID when we were locked up. I was living in New York at the time, and you're just locked up into your apartment and you don't get to see people, and all these relationships feel fake, and you're on all these platforms and you're spending so much time with people, but you feel so disconnected from humanity. And I think that there was a huge urge to have a physical connection with a person, which, by the way, is key for dating. You have to have that physical connection to, just to meet them in person, to feel their energy. Even in matchmaking, we pick up on energy when we're on a phone call with a person, but there's nothing that's going to replace the X factor of when two people are in a room. That eye contact, the feeling of butterflies in your stomach, the feeling of warmth in your body, or the feeling of, oh my God, this is totally not my vibe kind of a person, the smell of a human being, all of those senses you only experience in real life. And so I think that's one of the reasons why matchmaking is so successful, because you're putting people literally on a date. And so every single person that comes through, every client that comes through is guaranteed to have those experiences. And it also helps them understand what they're looking for and what they're not looking for. The IRL of dating apps, I think that was what was missing. Yeah. You had all of these people matching, and it was the endorphin rush of, wow, everyone likes me. Everyone wants to chat with me. actually very few conversations happen for the number of likes people get. And then even fewer dates actually happen. And so I think there's been this pendulum that's now swung so far into the we don't have any physical contact, moving back towards let's do fun things together. Let's experience each other. And I think this is happening for all age groups. And what's interesting now is it's not just the one-to-one dating IRL, but there's so many new startups and interesting technologies that facilitate in-person meeting of groups, common interest groups. There's dating apps that are for people that love to run. And so 1,000 singles meet once a week, in New York City, in Newport Beach, California, where I live. And they're wearing a white t-shirt if they're single, a black if they're not single. And they're able to have these shared experiences where it feels less risky because there's so many more people, feels safer. And it's really leading to, I think, much better outcomes in general if the outcome that you're looking for is a long-term relationship. So I'm a huge fan of this. And this is definitely moving in the direction of matchmaking, which is getting people out in the wild to experience each other.
Absolutely. I want to kind of double down on something that you said with the app, right? Because it uses voice, right? I do see that more and more people, not everyone, but a lot of people are using more voice when it comes to engaging with AI, right? Because it feels more human. There's also, conversations from Davos about OpenAI launching a new device that is going to be voice first. I mean, voice is going to be a big part of the glasses that Meta will. They already have the Meta Ray-Ban displays, but in the future, the future glasses will be using voice. So I think that it's very interesting that you are voice centered, right? When it comes to the AI, it's not just typing and kind of the way that the regular apps are working. Why do you think voice is powerful?
So voice brings a whole other dimension to who a human being is. I think that on dating apps, many people have over the years created these personas. Maybe in the real life, you're introverted and you have, a job that you don't really love and maybe things in your life aren't great. Then you get into an app and you don't have to verify your photo. You can say whatever you want about yourself. Nobody's verified. It's not required to be verified. And then you end up creating a persona of yourself and someone's dating online your persona, not even who you really are, which feels very fake to me. Even adding in a voice element in a dating app, and I think Hinge has some people answering questions with their voice, and some apps have adopted that. It just gives you another sense of someone's personality, not only how they answer a question, so it's what they say and how they say what they say. Voice can be really sexy. Maybe your photo is a 7 on 10, but your voice is really sexy to someone, and they would have passed you up on a dating app. But now, because you have that voice note, you're saying either something that sounds sexy, sounds ambitious, the tone is rugged and rough, or the tone is, slick and sleek, or the tone is surfer, or maybe you have an accent from a foreign country, whatever it may be. That's another element to get people to understand who you are. And I think will lead to, and what we've seen lead to, much greater compatibility.
I love that. And I'm glad I have a podcast because I get to practice my voice, right?
By the way, you have an awesome voice. I feel like if you were on the 3-Day Rule app and you were talking to your AI matchmaker, we can match you in 10 seconds. There'd be so many people banging down your door.
I would love that. So we're getting towards the end of the interview, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of dating and how you guys are preparing for that future of dating, right? Because it seems like we're in this moment where IRL is taking the spotlight, but also AI is moving at a really fast pace. How are you guys preparing for the future of dating, one? And then two, what makes you excited about the future of dating for 3-Day Rule?
So amazing question. Well, the first thing that I'll say is 3-Day Rule in 2025 had an over 40% growth in our revenue. And we're
That's
a 15-year-old.
amazing. Congratulations. I had to just jump in and interject. Congratulations.
Well, and we're a 15-year-old company. And what we've seen across the industry in the US, that matchmaking has grown almost 20% in 2025. Now, The Materialist, the movie, helped us a little bit. But I think also as people decide that they want to drop or ditch the apps, they're looking for an alternative. And now the matchmaking industry is giving you AI matchmaking assistants that are real alternatives to dating apps. And also people are saving their money and hiring a real matchmaker because they don't want to waste 5 years on a dating app. They only want to go on really high quality dates. So instead of saving, or instead of going on a trip with your girlfriends to Hawaii and spending $5,000 or $6,000, they're investing that in matchmaking and they're finding returns on investment. Our youngest client is a 21-year-old drop dead gorgeous tech guy in New York City. And our oldest client is a 92-year-old woman in Big Sur, California. So everyone is using matchmaking because it actually works. So I think that one of the big trends that we're seeing in our industry, dating apps are trying to figure out how they can get into the matchmaking space. So Match Group just invested in Overtone, which is Justin McLeod, who's the founder of Hinge, left Hinge to create Overtone, which will compete with 3 Day Rule and our AI matchmaking app. Andreessen Horowitz just recently invested in Sitch, which is their AI matchmaking app. Bumble also is now in beta testing an AI matchmaking app. This is where revenue will come from, higher margins, higher price points, but also higher outcomes. The way that we see the industry evolve beyond just matchmaking is coaching. One of the missing links between being successful in dating and not is understanding who you are, what it is you're looking for, coming up with a real solid strategy, and also dealing with your own stuff, your own trauma, your own bad relationships, and not bringing them forward. So matchmaking usually focuses on getting the person mentally and physically prepped for love. So the coaching element, what we find with our main business is that when our clients get coached, and we have a separate coach aside from the matchmaker, when our clients get coached, there's an up to 40% increase in yes matches, which means the date goes better over 40% of the time when you have someone coached ahead of time. And this may be them understanding what they're looking for, not jumping to conclusions on red flags. So coaching is a part of our app. We have an AI coach in our app as well. And you're also starting to see these coaches or coaching elements in dating apps because people spend more time with a coach, but also leads to greater outcomes. So what I'm saying is one of the big trends that we're seeing is dating as a skill. People are starting to invest in dating as a skill and realizing it's not just luck of the draw. You can actually get really good at dating, and companies like 3 Day Rule can do that for you or help you build that skill.
And I think that's so incredibly important because all the data shows that one of the biggest decisions anyone makes in their life, and this is reflected in their career and their success, is who they choose as their partner, right? That's pretty much one of the biggest decisions you make. So
huge.
All the coaching, right? All the coaching you can get, and if it's through AI or through a human, anything you can take to make yourself a better person at making that decision, the better, I would think.
And you know what, matching, it's not always about more options. It's about the right options. And I would tell you, and I think a lot of people that are listening would probably tell you they've been on a date with someone where maybe they dropped them too quickly. They jumped to conclusions. There was a red flag when there really wasn't a red flag, but they just saw a little something strange and they moved on. We have to give people a shot at love. No one's born knowing how to date well. If I'm watching a heterosexual couple on a date and a beautiful girl walks into the restaurant and the guy that you're on a date with glances at her because she's good looking, a lot of women would say, well, that's disgusting. That's a red flag. And maybe for you that is, but he's not disrespecting you. That could be a normal, outcome of what happens in those situations that you find someone attractive. Doesn't mean they're not interested in you too. And so I think it's important to understand that it really is a skill that we learn, and we need to give people a shot at love. Unless a date is really off the rails and, there are major red flags in conversation, give someone an opportunity to come back on a second date and woo you. Give someone an opportunity to show you that they can be lovable and you can love them, because the slow burn relationships are the ones that last. The dates where on the first date you're bubbling and the butterflies, that could be lust, not love. And if you're looking for long-term relationships, you need more than the physical. You've got to have the emotional. And sometimes the emotional takes a bit longer to develop. And so we got to give that person an opportunity to develop that with you.
And I think, everything you're saying is just incredibly insightful. Because we are on the Adweek podcast network and a lot of brands listen to us, or people working in branding or marketing, what would you think, how would you describe the 3 Day Rule brand as a brand?
Yeah, so we believe in a modern approach to matchmaking. So modern approach means we introduce technology. We are not just matching two people, but we're upskilling them in dating. So we're giving them the skill set to date. And of course, when it comes to our modern approach to dating, we have products and services available for everyone at every budget. So we're very tech friendly. We're very holistic in our approach. And then there's something for everyone. I will also say a lot of people ask us, hey, 3-day rule, what's the 3-day rule? So when you become a client at 3-day rule, we send you a guide, and we have a 3-day rule guide, not date, 3-day rule guide to successful dating. And this is a guide of what you should do before, during, and after the date in order to achieve dating success. If you follow this guide, your chances for dating success go all the way up. And if you want to know more about this guide, you can email me, adam@3dayrule.com, and I can send you, even though it's mostly for our clients, if you send me an email, adam@3dayrule.com, I can send you our 3-day rule guide. And it's an eye-opener. It really just, you think about dating differently once you read this guide.
Absolutely. So if folks want to, hire you guys for matchmaking or use the app, where do they go? Where do they go and find all this information?
Yeah, you can go to 3dayrule.com and you can sign up to be part of our network. You can download our app, which is just go to the iOS store. Right now, it's only in iOS, but you can go to the Apple store and download 3-day rules app. And once you register on the app, you're also eligible for offline matching. So that's kind of cool too. When you create your profile on the app, we're going to match you on the app, but also the white glove matchmakers have access to your profile. So if they have a client that matches your preferences, they literally will email you and call you and say, hey, Cathy, I have a great client named David. You're the perfect fit. Let me vet you for him. So you have 2 shots at love if you download our mobile application. And if you're interested in white glove matchmaking or just the white glove side, go to our website, 3dayrule.com, create a profile, and we will connect you with one of our amazing clients.
Well, I'm a huge believer in matchmaking and what 3-day rule is doing with AI. I love the human-centered approach and the voice first. So Adam, thank you for being on the podcast.
You got it.
All right. So yeah, exciting things that they're doing with AI and how to use it correctly for matchmaking. And it seems like a very more human-centered approach, I think, rather than just slapping AI onto everything because it's supposed to be better. So I don't know. I know that's definitely not your field, Lee, but
I don't know. I have no idea.
You're like, interesting. Good interview. Oh my goodness. Well, I definitely want to keep talking AI, hardware, all these sorts of things, but I think we should talk gaming too, because a lot of people that you listen to Tech Magic are also interested in the gaming space.
Yeah, there
was a new trailer that dropped recently that was amazing.
And it does look amazing. Yes, the Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer dropped this week, which is the follow-up sequel to the Mario movie that came out, about 2 years ago, a year ago? I don't remember how long it's been, but was a massive hit. As soon as I knew there was going to be a Mario movie sequel, I was like, the sequel's never as good as the first one. This one actually looks like it might be better. And it has Yoshi. Yoshi's like the main character.
Yoshi's the star of the movie.
Yeah, Yoshi's the star of the movie, and it looks adorable, and it honestly looks really funny, and I'm very excited about it. I am.
Yeah, well, my kids are all excited about it too. They're like, Mom, we already saw the trailer. We're so gonna go. I'm like, yes, we are. We're definitely gonna go. Another gaming IP movie that's dropping on this week, which I had no idea because I did not follow this, but my son is like, hey, Mom, can you take me to see Iron Lung?
Oh.
Yes, which is based on a gaming IP, and like this YouTuber made a movie about it, and actually like it's in the cinemas this week. So I don't know. It's really interesting. It's a pretty dystopic game, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like a survivor apocalyptic movie, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
But yeah, I think like gaming IP is just kind of like continuing to blow up and continuing to be like a solid choice for entertainment.
Well, I think a couple of things have happened. One, I think gaming IP is relieving the Marvel atrophy that's happened, right? We're getting really tired of Marvel movies. People have gotten really tired of Star Wars movies. Disney has effectively taken these brands that were, when they purchased them, they were exhausted, right? And exhausted them even further. That doesn't mean that they haven't been good. Some of them have been fantastic. Some of them have been absolute trash, but you don't ever know. And I think that there's just an exhaustion to those topics. And I also have to think, because now we're looking at, well, what IP doesn't Disney own? Mm-hmm. We're starting to see gaming IP be seen as more valuable. I'm going back to just how successful the Fallout series has been on it. That show's amazing. If you ever played that game, you are immediately sucked into the universe. You know exactly what's going on, but they do it in such a way that if you don't know that universe, if you never played that game, you can learn about it and you'll probably be really interested in playing those games. To the point where Bethesda's seeing such an uptick that they're, really pushing their old games hard right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see remasters of those classic games after the end of this season, so that people can go out and start playing, because they're based off of the actual games you can go out and play. So seeing that happen makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And I think we'll continue to see investments in gaming. We'll continue to see gaming IP come to the forefront. Yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of the convergence of gaming IP and creators and how it all merges together. I will say this is a really interesting piece of news in the gaming space, and this is from Semaphore. The Gulf region, so the Gulf region, GCC region, is an area where I've been spending a lot of my time. That is UAE, so United Arab Emirates, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, KSA, Qatar, and a few other countries. It's called the GCC or the Gulf. The Gulf is becoming one of gaming's most lucrative markets. The UAE's average revenue per gamer in 2025 was $90, one of the highest in the world and ahead of Saudi Arabia's $60. To put those figures into perspective, Japan's was nearly $11 and South Korea was just over $30. Isn't that crazy?
It is, but I have questions, right? Because a lot of Saudi Arabia's turnaround for gaming in the gaming industry can be attributed to the studios that they've purchased, right? They've made massive investments in the gaming industry. A lot of those investments have been studios in Japan. And I think we'll see even more of them come out of studios in the United States and things like that. And so does that mean, and I don't think we can answer the question on the show, but it makes me ask the question of, does that mean that if Saudi Arabia they bought SNK, which is a massive gaming studio, not quite Nintendo level, but they're still or Capcom, but they're a pretty big sized gaming IP out of Japan. Does that transfer that financial out of Japan into the Saudi books? I would say yes, probably.
I don't know. I think that's more like gamer spend. Like, how much are gamers spending in the country? That I don't know. I don't know about, I need to go down through the data, but I will tell you this. Another signal that came to me, I guess, through the sand, not the snow this time, is I'm getting a lot more and more clients and work in the gaming space in the region. There's this excitement about gaming. There's this kind of they really think it's it's great technology. A lot of the young people have adopted it. It's a great way to learn and to educate others. They're all in on gaming. They're all in on AI as well, right? From a large scale world implementation, but gaming as well. And I find even the godmother of the metaverse title, which here, a lot of people don't necessarily like to use the word metaverse, but when I go to the region as the godmother of the metaverse, they still welcome me in a very, very positive way. So I do think as a region, if you look at Africa, parts of Asia, and then the GCC region, gaming continues to be a very hot market.
No, and it's going to continue to grow. I mean, it is interesting because you kind of have to put gaming in different silos. And I think people forget to do that, right? You've got gaming in the sense of as a competitive sport. There's a lot of money in gaming in competition. We know that esports has been an incredible popular subject matter, especially from investors for the last 5 years, or if not a little bit longer. And then you have the side of the actual commercial gaming where you're selling a game through Steam or through your Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation or what have you. And that's just we're building a product, we're selling it. Then you've got the free to play, which is a whole ecosystem based on microtransactions that probably is the most profitable at the end of the day if we were going to subject it to dollars and donuts and do the actual math. And I think Americans don't realize this.
They don't.
I don't think that they realize that a big chunk of what we consider gaming in these gaming companies are founded in gambling. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but a lot of the slot machines that you play when you go to Las Vegas, video poker, whatever you're out there playing, are written in video game engines like
Unity, Unreal,
or whatever, and they are actually created, you don't see their logo on it, but they're created and distributed by really large, well-established video game companies that put out, games that are sitting on the shelf in your local Walmart. That's how a big chunk of that market works, right? Is they kind of have them siloed, but like it is all encompassing when it comes to these things. If you're listening, and next time you fly into Las Vegas for your trip, whether you're going to a conference or you're just going for a getaway weekend, look around as you're flying in and look for the big name gaming companies that have airplane hangars in Las Vegas. And I think you'll be surprised that you never noticed them before. And you would have never put two and two together unless you really think about it. Like, oh, that publisher also is in Las Vegas. Why are they in Las Vegas? Oh, do they make slot machines? Yes, they do make slot machines. But you don't know it because their brand isn't on that slot machine when you're playing it. Yeah, it's a very large industry.
Here's another piece of news that I think flew under the radar for a lot of people that is gaming related and Unity game engine related as well. And it's related to a former client of ours, Walmart. This was really exciting. I don't know if you saw this, but Walmart and Unity got together to launch the Walmart SDK. It's called the Walmart Immersive Commerce SDK that enables you to sell physical Walmart products directly within your Unity project. Isn't that crazy? That's amazing. I mean, I think to me, it's seeing the fruit that our work is bearing, because like you and I came in, worked with Walmart on a lot of these sorts of things. I worked with them on starting to work through the architecture of merging, how do you start to sell physical goods in virtual worlds? So seeing this, I mean, first it's Unity, where most of the projects are built, to be honest, gaming projects in general. And then I love that it's Walmart.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I believe I first caught wind of this by following our friend Nick Hill over at Sawhorse, who also works on these projects. His podcast, Brands in Play. Yeah, it's a really interesting project to see come together. And I want to say it's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone else do it. To see a brand like Walmart actually put together a system that allows that type of integration with Unity is very unique and kind of a hint towards the future, I believe, for brands like entering the game engine market.
And for developers as well, because there's another article here. It says 1.1 million Unity developers are getting a new revenue channel, right?
Yeah.
If they're able to do this too. I mean, I'm excited for developers as well to be able to use this SDK.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it'll be a hit. I think people will, if it fits the game, right? It has to fit the game.
If it fits the game.
It doesn't really make sense if you're trying to like put it into like Skyrim, right? Like all of a sudden you're in like a fantasy movie, like it does, or a video game. Like, okay, maybe that.
Buy some Doritos. Yeah, no. Get Doritos delivered to your house. Yeah, no, not gonna work.
The old Doritos, it's not. I don't think that's gonna work. But there are definitely areas in games where like this makes a lot of sense that I think it's gonna be able to service really well.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting times for sure. So, Lee, any other gaming news we should talk about?
I mean, we're going to keep an eye on Meta. Their CTO has had a few things to say about where the Quest has currently been, their lack of focus, and I don't know. I'm kind of wait and see where it comes to Meta. I'm rooting for them because they do have, in my opinion, some of the best VR hardware available in the US market. So I want to see them succeed. But there's some things going on that are going to be a struggle, and hopefully they can kind of right that ship and get it back going in the right direction. I don't want to end on a down note, but I think you do have to talk a little bit about, as we're watching larger studios kind of flounder in the bit, we're seeing a few things get put aside. Prince of Persia has been canceled. A couple of studios closed, and there's going to be continued layoffs. But that also means that there's going to be developers who go out there and make some amazing indie games, and indie games are still the hot product. I mean, some of the best games of the year, every year for like the last 5 years, have been indie titles that have made millions of sales to teams that are no bigger than 5 to 10 people. Mm-hmm. And you gotta applaud when that happens. There's just like a real opportunity out there. So when you hear those things, it sounds bad, and it is bad, and it can be very painful. But at the same time, like, there's opportunity to be had, especially in the world of gaming. And I'm excited to see where it comes together.
Absolutely. One thing I do want to add is that even though we're going on hiatus and we'll close this out pretty soon, we are going to be planning to be at several events, right? We're planning to be at TED. We're planning to be at other live events where we'll be kind of bringing this conversation to you live.
Yes, and I will actually be, just for, I think, 1 month, I'm going to be joining Nick Hill on Brands in Play, filling in while someone is away. So my voice won't be completely into the void. There'll still be my snarky opinions floating around out there. So yeah, make sure you check me out there.
I should make a guest appearance, Lee.
That's the next question I was going to have for you. So yeah, there's definitely an absolute need for that. So we're going to make that happen as well. All right. And so with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's listened to us for all of these seasons. The show is not over. It will go on. Just bear with us as we make this transition to a new home, and we'll have a lot more coming up in those days as well. With that, thank you again for always tuning into Tech Magic, where we invite you to come for the tech, stay for the magic. I'm Lee Kebler here with the incredible Cathy Hackl. Special thanks, as always, to Adweek for all of the support they've given us bringing this show to you. And also to our amazing editors, Stephanie and Amy. You guys have been fantastic to work with as well. If you'd enjoyed today's episode, just leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to connect with you. Just search for Tech Magic, Cathy Hackl, or me, Lee Kebler. You'll find us. We will be back.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
What makes a leader worth following?
What should you really care about in your job as technology is changing so quickly?
Is it just going to be about machines talking to other machines? I mean, should you quit your job and start something on your own? What would that take?
What does success and risk look like when we're all at the starting gate together?
These are the questions we answer each week on Lead Human with Jack Myers and Tim Spengler.
Join us each week and subscribe at your favorite podcast platform and YouTube.
We'll tell stories, we'll hear from some of the best, and we'll try to figure this out together.
Hannah, I just Venmo'd you for dinner.
Obsessed. I'm spending it right now on the lip gloss that's been sitting in my cart.
What do you mean spending it right now?
You can instantly spend your balance with the Venmo debit card or when you pay with Venmo at checkout.
Stop. Say more.
More exactly. The more you do with Venmo, the more you get, like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash. Get the Venmo debit card or check out online. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.